Episode 1, Season 1 of The Sky is Falling. Welcome, wanderers and seekers of lore. Our tale begins at the edge of the world, where salt wind lingers in every crevice and the clouds seem always just on the verge of storm. The gangplank of a ship thudders against the weathered dock. Fog clings lower over the port, curls around the crates and lantern posts like a smoke from an unseen fire. The town rises like a callous blister between the sea and stone, its crooked buildings leaning into the wind, its shutters flapping and groaning. The cobblestone streets are cracked and patched with gravel. The buildings show signs of ruin, but also hasty repair with nailed shutters, patched stones, and new wood lined up against the old all throughout the town's fencing. This town may have been ruined, yet still it lives. Many signs indicate efforts to rebuild. Street vendors scramble towards all the new customers. Although their inventory is scarce, they try their best to sell what they have. The children run through the streets. Although dirty, they seem happy, and smoke can be seen from every home's chimney. From an optimistic traveler's point, these could all be considered signs of hope. This is a place where stories cling to the fog like ghosts, and the salt water sticks to every stone, all of which is covered by a dark sea fog that never seems to lift above the town's roofline. Just beyond the town's edge, to the north and west, looms the Blackwood, a dense brooding forest where no birds sing. The trees are massive, older than memory, the bark like scorched iron and canopies that knit together so tight they swallow sunlight whole. The forest breathes a little heavier than it should. Locals speak of paths that shift, that sounds that follow should not be heard. Few go there willingly. And behind the town, rising like a high broken line of teeth, there are the Black Cliffs. They are jagged and sheer, streaked with quartz and carved with ancient symbols long since worn by the rain. Legend says the cliffs cracked and many creatures found new dark homes within them the night the star fell. Now sailors swear, since that time, they can hear music beneath the waves that crash. We step off a creaking ship moored at the dock. The port is crooked and splintered, with timbers bleached by time and sea. Barnacles crust the lower post, ropes groan in the breeze, rusted lanterns swing from iron hooks, casting sickly light on the crates stacked in disarray, fish barrels, broken cages, and cargo stamped with foreign symbols. The ships are limping into harbor due to the storms are carrying traders, tired young families, and lost souls, many looking for new beginnings. Gulls circle overhead, crying for scraps. The air is thick with brine rot. The faint smell of brewed cider drifts in from inland, can barely be smelled over the salty air. Among those arriving stands 4 figures who look to have purpose in their stride, eyes sharpened by travel and hearts still bruised. First to step forward was Jack. He was small, only 4 feet tall, but he moved with pride of someone twice his size. His boots hit the dock with purpose, long strides that refused to be diminished by his stature. His shoulders were square, his coat was worn but well kept, and the sword slung across his back looked as though it had seen more blood than polish. Jack's dark hair was tied back with a leather cord, and his eyes, gray like winter tides, swept the town with cool suspicion. He didn't recognize Greyhaven, didn't remember the family waiting for him, but some part of him itched to be here, like a memory clawing beneath the skin. Walking just behind him in a careful distance and a watchful eye was Killigan. He said little, but the forest clung to him in every way. Slender and sharp-eyed, Killigan wore a weather-faded coat, the edges damp with sea spray. His boots made no sound. His bow, wrapped in oil linen, rested easily across his back. He looked like a man who didn't belong in cities and didn't want to. Every step he took was measured. His gaze flickered from alley to rooftop to every face in the crowd. Jack was his brother in arms, even if Jack no longer remembered him. Next came Macintosh, trailing a step behind her sister, but with restless energy that couldn't be missed. She was youthful, fierce-eyed, and already full of questions. Her boots clunked louder than the others, and she seemed to take in the world with equal parts wonder and suspicion. A short sword swung from her belt, the leather grip clearly used. She wore a mismatched patchwork of armor pieces, scavenged, modified, and worn like a badge. Her fingers fidgeted constantly, as if always ready to draw. Toss a coin or steal a biscuit. Mac had never seen a place like this, but the unknown thrilled her. Finally came Bambi, and Greyhaven itself seemed to take notice. She was elven, tall, elegant, but weathered by the time with sorrow. Her long blue hair was braided and wound with ivy, charms, and polished stones. Her armor was simple but enchanted, stitched with forest memories. Her stride was graceful, her eyes steady and distant. Already scanning the rooftop for a familiar face, she had returned to the town not for riches but for something more precious, her children, her past, her future. The pain of it lingered behind her eyes, but she did not flinch from it. Together the four moved through the fog towards the port's edge. After disembarking the ship, the group is able to get a better look at the town. The buildings leaning into the wind as though weary but unwilling to fall. Many are broken and warped but with rot, yet each bears the mark of repairs, hastily hammered shutters, freshly patched stone, and signs of hope, where ruin once took root. The town stirs with cautious optimism. In the market square, whispers flutter like torn parchment, rumors of old gods, of the mill workers torn open like paper dolls, and of a rising moon that watches with hunger. A new wood mill clanks in the east. The brew house downwind from the harbor flaps a faded banner that reads, "The best ale the sea can offer." But the fog is heavy this morning. It hugs the shoreline thick and strange, and beneath it the truth walks quietly. There are whispers of 2 mill workers found shredded and splayed as if by claws. The mayor says bears, the common folk say a curse, but those who remember the old tales, they know better. They say the Moon Temple is stirring again. It's time for the Moon's Temple to return the stolen children. But will they be children of men or children of the moon? Just east of the port, which can be seen rising out of the cliffs like a sign of nature reclaiming itself after being abandoned, stands a long, dragon-destroyed lighthouse. It hasn't guided a ship in years, yet it still glows on fogless nights. Its stones are slick with moss, and ivy wraps its base like an old injury that never healed. The upper balcony is bent slightly, as though something struck it hard once. The glass is cracked in spiderweb pattern, and the weathered wood door at the base creaks on its rusted hinges. But from the perch, one can see the whole harbor and also be seen. There at the top of the steps, right at the edge of the railing, they spot a middle-aged man with a very long beard, holding a staff with a gray robe that has many embroidered silver stars covering all of its pieces of clothing. It seems he is staring at the group with a smile. Once eye contact is made, the man starts to approach the group with a quick pace but a friendly demeanor. Cedriel descends the stairs, approaching Jack, handing him a scroll and a bag of coin, introducing himself as Cedriel the Stargazer and the wizard emissary of the Adventure Guild. He has been sent by the guild to quietly inspect every ship that arrives, his task to spot the wanderers, the scared ones, the ones with blade calloused hands, and the wanderlust in their eyes. Cedriel does not tell the team, but the reason he has the job, the reason the job exists, is to maintain balance and peace within the town. The Adventure Guild is funded by the parents of the young ones that were lost many years ago. They never returned from a journey that they were talked into by a very irresponsible and very rambunctious pirate. The guild now is funded and does not want such people to linger in town, not because they are unwanted, but because they are dangerous, they stir things up, and they wake things. The town needs builders, bakers, and families, and farmers. They do not need weapon wielders, warriors who will steal their young men and talk their children into leaving on adventures. They need to rebuild and focus on the town's economy, not on adventures. So approaching with a smile, the old wizard moves swiftly down the lighthouse steps, his stitched cloak trailing in the breeze. He smiles warmly as he approaches, and with an air of ceremony, hands a rolled scroll and a bag of coin to Jack. "You look like the kind of folks who can handle yourself," Cedriel says, his voice calm and practical. "Greyhaven has work, not glorious work, but work all the same." The letter explains the town's brew house has a standing contract with the Hawkshaw farm just outside of town, but the deliveries have stopped. No ale, no barley, no word. "We suspect a broken wagon," Cedriel offers casually. "Maybe a lazy farmer, or maybe something worse. We are asking you to investigate. It's a half-day's walk. Just bring back news or the goods if they can be found." As the party reads on, Cedriel offers a smile, then lowers his voice slightly. He nods to the square. "Payment will come from me, from the guild, to you. You'll find me in the broken tower at the end of the square." Without any words, Cedriel walks off, his robes glinting with starlight as he vanishes into the fog. The adventurers exchange glances. It's strange, almost too easy, a job handed to them before they even ask, but none of them complain. The work means coin, and the town, for all its rot, has warmth in its bones. Bambi and Max slip away unnoticed to the edge of town. There is a crooked cottage wrapped in moss and birdsong. Bambi is reunited with her twins and her wary mother-in-law. No one in the party knows, not even Jack, where they have gone. Jack and Keely head to a market. They browse tools, dried fruit, and glinting weapons. A dwarven shopkeeper takes a liking to Jack, handing him a token and muttering, "If you ever need me, and I hear a voice, I will come." Killigan splits off and finds a blacksmith. He pays in advance for a blade he can trust, then he books a quiet room at the Dancing Lantern Inn. Jack wanders on. He enjoys a long visit to the bathhouse, eats street food from a halfling vendor, hears a song from a fiddler whose bow is made of bone. Eventually his path ends before the glowing door of the brewhouse. He sees a womanly figure in the light of the doorway. He is invited inside by Miranda, the owner of the brewery. Sharp-eyed and worn-voiced, she pours him ale, but it's her company he drinks in. Assuming the evening was enjoyable and the results of much ill, Jack agrees to stay with Miranda for the evening. They spent the dark hours beneath a roof that smells of malt and longing, a night not even Jack can forget. And so the tale begins. Greyhaven not yet knowing what it has invited in, but the fog remembers and the stars are always watching.